If you're trying to find relevant research to a particular area, one of the things you can do is use citations in order to track down related research. So imagine this is a paper that I've been reading and I think is really helpful to me, video games and pro-social behavior. One of the things I might want to do is check to see which articles in the future have actually cited this. So there's a few different ways that I can do this, and I'm going to check through a few of those for you. So first I'm going to start with PsycInfo, and I've pulled this article up here, and if I click on it, one of the things that I'll see is there's a cited by number on the right hand side. So it says 4 other publications have cited this work. And if I click on that, it's going to take me to those particular articles. And in this case, number 3 at least looks to me to be pretty relevant, so I might want to save that one for the future. I can do the same thing in Google Scholar, so I've pulled up the article, and in this case I have 17 citations, so I can click on the cited by, and I can scroll through these search results and see which other articles have cited it that might be helpful to me. Last, I'm going to look at Web of Science, which is another database that we have, and you can see same article, only this time it has 3 citations, and if I were to click on that, it would pull those up as well. So all of these are useful places to do research, but one of the things that probably jumps out at you is that there's a pretty big discrepancy between the number of citations. So what is it that is responsible for this? Well, in the first case, PsycNet or PsycInfo, it's a database or collection that's focused on research in the area of psychology. So it's going to exclude things that it doesn't deem as fitting within those parameters, which means there are fewer paper to draw citations from, which means the number of citations for this particular article is going to be lower here. On the other hand, Google Scholar has a much broader net, so it's covering kind of everything. It's not really excluding anything within the academic domain. And so the number of citations that it's pulling up is higher, obviously. Now, that doesn't mean Google Scholar is always better because it has casts a bigger net. In fact, sometimes it's much more helpful to have a focused database like PsycInfo because it's going to exclude things that are going to cloud your research results that might actually not be within your area of interest, especially if you're looking at research in psychology more particularly. Similarly, Web of Science, again, much smaller set of results. And the reason for that is Web of Science focuses on what it deems to be high-impact journals. So to be a publication that appears in Web of Science, it has to meet a certain citation threshold. And so as a result of that, once again, it's going to exclude a lot of publications, and the citation results are going to be a bit lower than Google Scholar. But there are also some interesting tools in Web of Science that you can use as well. So I've done a search which attempts to sort of cover that basic research area, video games and the impact on violent behavior. So if I run this search, it's going to pull up, let's say, about 71 results. And what I want to do is click on the Create Citation Report. And this is going to give me an overview of the research area that is represented by my search string. So once again, the results that you're getting here are only as good as the search that you've done. So if your search is ineffective and you're missing a lot of things, and I'm reasonably confident my search is not as comprehensive as it could be in this particular case, then maybe things might fall through the cracks. So keep that in mind. But it's going to tell me how many publications are represented by this search, how many citations, an average number of citations. And then interestingly, you can sort of track a graph over time of the popularity of this research topic as represented by citations. So you can see in the mid to sort of early 2000s, this started to really take off, and it's doing quite well, but maybe it's seeing a decline, although it still could be more publications coming out in 2017. And probably the most important thing, of course, is this hierarchy of citations. So this listing here is going to give you all the articles in your search, and it's going to rank them by the average citations per year. So you can see that in this case, the first article has been cited on average 33 times a year since it's come out, and in total 407 times. And this is hopefully going to give you a sense of what the highly read articles and highly influential articles in a particular research area are. So if you're getting started somewhere and you want to make sure, okay, this is the topic I'm looking at, I want to make sure I'm reading the things that I should be reading or that are highly relevant, then the citation analysis is going to help you at least approximate that well by looking at the number of times things have been cited. So hopefully all of this helps you pull in more relevant research for what you're working on.